Hi, Bulldogs. This video is not one of the homework videos that will be graded, but this is quiz review. So for those of you who took the quiz, didn't do exactly how you wanted, before you get the opportunity to take a quiz retake, which is a modified version or a slightly different version of the test you took before, there's some steps you need to take before you can do so. The first step is to watch this video, and maybe we'll clarify some of the things you were unsure of or some of the things you stumbled on when you took the quiz. And then we'll go over in class the other steps you would need to take. So as you know, this video was all related to 9/11. And what I'm going to do here is break down the different standards, because as you saw, the quiz was separated by standards. If you've been keeping up with your standard reflections, that probably will be a help to you. So the first standard was to assess the effectiveness of responses by governments and international organizations to tensions resulting from ethnic, territorial, religious, and/or nationalist differences. So when you're asked to assess something, you're basically judging it. So you're judging the effectiveness of things like the government or international organizations, the UN, to tensions from ethnic, territorial, religious, and/or nationalist differences. So think how this relates to 9/11, right? There's a few things that it could refer to, but for the quiz, we zeroed in on excerpts from President Obama's speech on May 2nd of 2011. So part of that speech, he said, on September 11, 2001, in our time of grief, the American people came together. We offered our neighbors a hand, and we offered the wounded our blood. We reaffirmed our ties to each other and our love of community and country. Then check this highlighted part out. On that day, no matter where we came from, what God we prayed to, or what race or ethnicity we were united as one American family. So try to think how this relates to that standard. When he refers to on that day, it's referring to this day. It's referring to September 11th. So saying regardless of religion, ethnicity, is race, we came together. But as the standard suggests, there were tensions, right, that happened after 9/11. You did that last video that talked about hate crimes after 9/11. So what is he trying to do here? He also says, as we do, we must also reaffirm that the U.S. is not and never will be at war with Islam. I've made clear, just as President Bush did shortly after 9/11, that our war is not against Islam. So how is the government now responding to religious or even ethnic tensions? Okay, that's something you first want to identify, and then you can try to judge it yourself. The second standard is to analyze why terrorist movements have proliferated and evaluate their impact on governments, individuals, and societies. So the first thing you have to do is to figure out, why have terrorist movements proliferated? There's a lot of reasons why, if you get into the psychology aspect, or psychology aspect, sociology aspect. We're looking at the political aspects mostly in class. So what you want to do is go back through your notes, and if you didn't take notes, maybe you want to go through the videos and take some notes. What were the causes of the 93 World Trade Center bombing? What were the causes of the embassy attacks in 98? Or of other terrorist actions we talk about, the Khobar Towers, the USS Cole. And you did see a theme that a lot of the terrorist groups were blaming the U.S.'s role for siding with Israel over Palestine in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Right? That conflict is not something we can explain in one video, but we'll keep coming back to it as we do other things throughout the year. But at least to know that much, that was an issue they were not happy with. The second part of the standard asks you to notice the impact on governments, individuals, and societies. So with impact, you're looking on change. That's a big thing we've been coming back to over and over again. How did 9/11 change the government? How did it change society? How did it change individuals from various stories we've read or listened to? So that's would also be an essential question you've responded to. So keep thinking about that as a form of change. All right, the third standard asks you to analyze a current foreign policy issue by considering current and historical perspectives, examining strategies, and presenting possible solutions. So to analyze, you're breaking it down. So you're going to break down a foreign policy issue, and then You're basically, in this way, going to sort of compare and contrast it to historical ones. So the foreign policy issues here, which are also really domestic issues, but we're focusing on the current issue being the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act, as you know, was created as a result of 9/11, and I guess also the anthrax attacks. But now, remember, we also went into detail about things that happened beforehand, things that happened centuries earlier, like the Alien and Sedition Acts, then things that happened around World War I, the Espionage Act and the additional Alien Act there. So how is the Patriot Act similar? How is it different? Check to see if you have that in your notes. If you need to, go back and watch that video on that and take some notes on it. The fourth standard is more of a skills standard than a content standard, to integrate and evaluate content presented in diverse media and formats, including visually and quantitatively, as well as in words. So we've read, we've watched videos, we've also analyzed pictures, including political cartoons. So what I would do is go back to your notes, hopefully you took some, on political cartoon characteristics, 3S, 3C, HP, right? Size, symbolism, shading, caricature, caption. What are they here? You can tell me. Humor, personification. I'm missing a C in there, right? But hopefully you have that in your notes. So look at the political cartoons we've done before. You should still see them in Google Classroom, or just Google political cartoons from 9/11. See if you can analyze them. See if you can see, is there symbolism here? Is there shading that's significant? Is the size significant? Is there a caption? Is there a caricature, right? Try to go through all those things. Is it humorous? What's the message that they're trying to send? The last skill-based standard is to analyze various perspectives as presented in different mediums, like a person's life story in print and multimedia, determining which details are emphasized in each account. So for the quiz here, what it really asks you to do is to read accounts of survivors' stories and then identify certain things from them. If you did the actively learn assignment on the obituaries of 9/11 firefighters, this was a similar skill you had to do. Watch the videos, read about them, determining what was important. So this is just some reading comprehension. When you get to this part of the quiz, take your time. Read the accounts. If you want to practice, look up 9/11 survivor stories. You can find many, many, many. And then try to do it to each other. Hey, what part is important here? How is their story similar to their story? How is their story different than this person's story? What is the important takeaway? What's something that you'll remember from it? All right. Plus, you'll just learn more about 9/11 if you practice by doing that. And that, of course, cannot hurt you. All right. Also, I want to check, have you taken notes? I went around and I saw several students' notes. I saw those of you who uploaded it. A lot of you who handwrote it took really good notes. So note taking is a skill, and we're going to go over that this year, different ways to take notes. It probably won't look like this fourth grader's notes, but hey, it gives you, if you need to color and use visuals, go all for it, right? Try to prepare yourself. Go back and watch the videos. Take some notes on it. Don't just copy your classmates' notes, because that's not going to connect in your brain. You want to take it a step further, write down the notes, then type it. You'll remember it better. You can use the notes for this, so it's not going to hurt you, all right? Prepare yourself to do well this time. And if you do so, you definitely got it. All right, if you have any questions on the material, as always, please ask me, and I'll be sure to help you out. And get yourself ready, take a deep breath, and good luck.